Chance to see the annual review of this year's sporting achievements.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BBC Television's Sports Review of the Year. Your hosts this evening are Steve Ryder, Sue Barker and Desmond Lynam.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to our celebration of the sporting year 1995. Gone quickly, hasn't it? I suspect the next couple of hours will rush by too because we have a great deal to show you. But we hope it's a year that will forever remain in the memory of the person who tonight will become your choice as Sports Personality of the Year.
Well, that award at the end of the show, of course, will also be announcing the Team of the Year and the Overseas Sports Personality. Past winners include Muhammad Ali, Pele and last year Brian Lara. We'll honour the overseas star who's made the biggest impact this year.
Now, I have to confess that not every element of this programme is quite complete. This kit of parts, for example, some 750 of them, is a Formula One World Championship Benetton, or at least it needs to be in about an hour's time when we want the car in the Sports Review of the Year theatre. But Benetton are the world champion constructors, and tonight they need to prove it. Now, Johnny Herbert, you've won 2 Grand Prix this season with this lot. Are they up to it?
Well, it's one of these situations. Normally, I'd come over the radio after a little spin and say it's not too bad. So I think it's going to keep them. It's going to be a good job. I just hopefully they're going to bleed everything, the brakes and everything. They're going to do that and start it up as well. I reckon.
Every component needs to be accounted for. But every motorsport challenge like this starts with 2 things: a green light and the voice of Murray Walker.
And watch for the lights. Go!
Best of luck with that. Now, sleaze, bribery, allegations, drugs and violence. What a fun year it's been for football. But for all that, the game continues to entice us, especially with all the world-class foreign stars now performing for British clubs.
Wembley, as United lost the ball and in the few seconds that followed, lost the cup as well.
Here's Limpar, and it's a 4-on-2 break. Stewart wants it to the left, Jackson wants it to the right, Rideout wants it down the middle. Still Matt Jackson. Oh, off the crossbar and out from Stewart. And then in. Right out.
A revitalised Everton lifted the cup. But for £4 million Duncan Ferguson, there was a jail sentence to be faced later in the year for an offence committed as a Rangers player. Anfield's old boys were smiling. Liverpool under Roy Evans won the Coca-Cola Cup. Kevin Keegan's Newcastle led the Premiership field. In Scotland, Rangers, with Brian Laudrup outstanding, won the league for the 7th year running. But even with Paul Gascoigne, made no impression on the Champions League. Old firm rival Celtic ended 6 years without a trophy by winning the Scottish Cup. The Coca-Cola Cup went to Aberdeen. In Europe, holders Arsenal were 30 seconds away from a penalty shootout in the Cup Winners' Cup final.
Naeem going for glory from long range and Seaman struggling. Arce!
For ex-manager George Graham, the glory of 6 trophies in 8 years was followed by the grief of dismissal and a year's ban from the game. And with leading players facing match-fixing allegations, it was a year of smears as well as cheers. The guardians of football must ensure that standards off the field match those on it.
Terry Venables' year has been a victory for motivation over litigation. The England coach had no control over the ghastly affront in Dublin, and not much when Brazil's class at Wembley ended a worrying week for his side in the Umbro Cup. But the new season began well enough against Colombia, a match which had its diversions. And after another goalless draw in Norway, the visit of Switzerland saw a rise in the feel-good factor.
Sheringham. Yes! England take the lead.
Next, Portugal, another Euro 96 qualifier on Tuesday. Scotland made it to the European finals, at times with a bit of style. And Big Jack's Ireland, who looked drowned in Lisbon, still hope to qualify by beating Holland in next Wednesday's playoff, thanks to Brian Hamilton's Northern Ireland splashing 5 goals past Austria. Bobby Gould, the new Welsh boss, hopes for luck in Tuesday's World Cup draw. Last summer, Norway won the Women's Championship. Next summer will be 30 years on from England's triumph at Wembley. Inspiration for Venables' men to be at the heart of Europe.
Let's have a word with one or two of the players here. David Platzi, unfortunately you've had to pull out of England's game on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. I tweaked an hamstring in the game against Southampton on Saturday, and unfortunately it won't be fit enough in time.
Oh, that's a pity. We'll come on to England in a second or two, but can I ask you first, I mean, you played at the highest level in Italy, and you're playing at the highest level here. Well, you're playing for Arsenal. Compare the standards of both for us, because we're getting a bit paranoid here. People keep telling us that English football's no good in comparison.
I think we underestimate ourselves tremendously. I think, you know, technically we're as good as the Italians and the Europeans. We don't get a great deal of time on the training pitch because of the amount of games that we have to play. And I think that's the biggest difference, really. You know, players are going onto pitches, they're playing with injuries, mentally and physically they're tired.
Yeah. Now, what about Euro 96? Where would you place England's hopes at this point in time?
I think we've got to look to win it. You know, we've got a home advantage, and hopefully that can be significant. We're well on the road. We work very, very hard when we get with Terry Venables. We have 6-day get-togethers where we try and prepare for the up-and-coming game, and also with the European Championships in mind. We've now got 6 months where we can start to prepare in earnest and get things right.
Yes. A lot depends on the man next to you there, Alan Shearer, because there's a huge weight on your shoulders, Alan, about scoring the goals, and they've been a little bit tricky to come by for England of late. What about the style that England play? Is it helpful to you, or...?
Thanks for reminding me, yeah. No, it's not. I mean, a lot has been made about the style. The famous Christmas tree formation, or whatever you want to call it, but all I've ever wanted to do is play for my country. I thoroughly enjoy it, whether I'm playing up front on my own or with someone else.
And you, like David, would say that you've got to go out to win it, and you've got a real chance, you think, do you?
Well, I don't see any reason why not. As he said, with a home nation, we're all looking forward to it. You know, I'm sure it'll be a great competition.
Well, congratulations on the championship, as far as you're concerned, anyway, and good luck for Euro 96.
It was quite simply the most momentous year in the history of rugby union. Use of the chequebook became official. Reliance on the form book was more risky. Rugby went open, and rugby went to the World Cup as well. One thing that didn't change was the international start to the year, the Five Nations Championship.
A biting breeze heralded the start of a rugby year in which winds of change turned wild dreams into reality. A black president of South Africa in a Springbok jersey, an all-black wing with a jumbo fuselage. England's fly half going north. Northern League stars back in Union.
Subsequent to the repeal of the amateur regulations, rugby will become an open game.
But first, back in January, it was the Five Nations Championship, with England and France joint favourites. In Dublin, not even Gales could blow England off course as they dominated start to finish. France were headlong into the fray as a headbutt by Olivier Mel contributed to Welsh injury woes as they went from champions to wooden spooners, despite the happy return of Ieuan Evans after injury. Later, he was to become Wales' most capped player ever. France emerged from the tunnel out onto the field as potential Euro stars for what was billed as the Grand Slam decider at Twickenham. Their try was entirely in character, but one was not enough.
This is French brilliance. Sébastien Viard is unchallenged, and that's so typically French. Never count them out.
Nothing was going to deny England their 8th win over France in a row. Yet a viable challenge to English supremacy was emerging north of the border as Scotland girded their loins. Ireland fell first as Cronin crashed in. Then heroic Hastings rewrote the records, his coup de grace bringing Scotland's first win at Parc des Princes.
Gavin Hastings has burst away and he's going to score between the posts.
That frantic finale ensured it was all to play for in the Calcutta Cup, an occasion when it was the end, not the entertainment, which counted. All 24 points from the boot of Rob Andrew was enough.
The referee's whistle goes for the end of the match, and England have brought the whole of Twickenham to their feet.
Smiles one moment for Carling's third Grand Slam. The next, it was Will's dilemma, as the Rugby Union got wind of his derogatory remarks off camera, leaving his future captaincy in the balance for the World Cup in South Africa, where President Mandela pinned his colours to the Springbok mast. The opening portrayed a united rainbow nation, whilst the opening game brought triumph over the reigning champions. And then there was a certain Jonah Lomu. Ireland faced him first. Ireland did recover to reach the quarter-finals at the expense of hapless Wales, and thanks to a last-gasp and Tamak try in victory for France, Scotland, as pool runners-up, were left to face New Zealand and Lomu. He made his impact as ever, and with Scotland's defeat, Gavin Hastings bid farewell to international rugby. As Ireland bowed out to France, England were left on a day of high emotion to be the one home country to make the semi-finals. A try for Tony Underwood kept England in the hunt against Australia before that moment of pure theatre in which Rob Andrew proved himself again the man for the big occasion.
He's hit it straight, he's hit it high, it's over, it's there, England are going to win this match.
Euphoria abroad and at home. It was New Zealand next in Cape Town. But Lomu was no fleeting shadow. 4 tries out of the All Black 6. Lomu first and Lomu last. Just too much for England.
He's awesome, he's a freak, and sooner he goes away, the better.
But for the final, the shadow over Ellis Park was cast by a different jumbo. Lomu was shackled and tackled. And Joel Stransky's drop goal in extra time sent all of South Africa into 7th heaven.
The whistle has gone, the dream has come true, and the host nation take the World Cup.
The world shared in Francois Pienaar's and Nelson Mandela's delight, but that was the end of an era. In Paris, the International Board recognised the inevitable.
Subsequent to the repeal of the amateur regulations, rugby will become an open game. There will be no prohibition on payment or the provision of other material benefit to any person involved in the game.
Things moved fast. Rob Andrew was a prized and highly paid purchase for Sir John Hall's Newcastle, taking a clutch of internationals with him. The 100-year barrier between League and Union was dismantled as Jonathan Davies came home. And so the old order changed, leaving one to wonder who will be taking over from these, the current domestic champion clubs, next time round. The trophies for the individual National League and Cup competitions from those who won in '95 in England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland. At the end of this year, the 2 dominant playing forces appropriately had the final word. Jonah Lomu, now price tag £1 million plus, helped New Zealand turn the tables on France in the second test. At Twickenham, the Springboks rounded off their annus mirabilis convincingly, a 14th consecutive win.
It's a run in to the corner for Chester Williams, this time no mistake.
So, as Rugby Union football now forges ahead into uncharted waters, the year ends with South Africa supreme. Francois Pienaar, their inspiring leader.
To host the 1995 Rugby World Cup in South Africa was something really special. And all South Africans went out to prove to the world that we can put on a major event. Winning the 1995 Rugby World Cup at our hometown in Johannesburg, something special. It brought the nation together. Our president and everybody involved. I've never seen so much happiness. We hope this happiness can continue. Next year is going to be an even tougher year. But to everybody in England, have a Merry Christmas.
He certainly will, that's for sure. But Rob Andrew, after the great year and the great achievements from South Africa, where does that leave England now up against the Southern Hemisphere sides?
Well, I think rebuilding. You know, a few people have disappeared from the scene. We saw against South Africa that there's a few new players coming in, and England are rebuilding towards the next World Cup.
Among those disappearing from the scene, or the international scene, notably yourself, how tough a decision was that for you?
It wasn't really that tough at all, to be honest. I've got a great opportunity in Newcastle, as everybody knows. I've had a wonderful international career, you know, for 10 years. I've got something else to get my teeth into now, and I think it's time for the England team to move forward with some new, younger players.
What's the buzz up there in Newcastle for Rugby Union? How excited are you about what's happening up there?
Well, I've said many times I'm really excited about it. There's a lot happening in rugby anyway. I mean, 95's been the biggest year in Rugby Union history. Newcastle has got a big future, I think, in rugby. We've got to get a few of the Toon Army across town to support us as well, and I think if we do that, you know, we've got big things that can happen.
Sitting next to Ian Evans, does this go down as a good kind of recruiting night for you?
I see there's one or two faces around the room that we might be able to talk to.
But this fella, Jonah Lomu, let's get a word from you about him. How dominant a figure is he going to become?
Well, he's already proved that he is, you know, a one-off. Will called him a freak there, and I think that's a good description of him. I didn't get anywhere near him, fortunately, in the game against the All Blacks, which was just as well. He just ran through everybody. The South Africans showed collectively how they could get hold of him, but I think rugby's going more that way. You know, you've got to be big, strong and powerful.
He's an exceptional player, that's for sure. Jonathan Davies, he moved back to Rugby Union. Too late to meet the full force of Jonah Lomu this year, but on our behalf, he did meet up with him just recently.
People thought I took the softer option by going from Rugby League to Rugby Union. I thought so as well, until I met this man, Jonah Lomu, the main man of world rugby this year, the star of any code. And it gives me great pleasure to present Jonah Lomu with Overseas Sports Personality of the Year 1995.
Well, thanks Jonathan for this trophy. I'd like to thank the people of Britain for, you know, actually for this trophy as well, and especially, you know, everyone out there that, you know, that made virtually this dream of mine come a reality, and it's to be an All Black. And, you know, I think that goes to the New Zealand players, especially. You know, I couldn't have done it without them and without my family as well. But once again, thanks a lot for this trophy, and you know, it's something that you know, words cannot express how I feel about it, and you know, I cherish it with you know, all my heart, really. Thanks a lot.
Jonah Lomu, Overseas Personality of the Year. Jonathan Davies himself had a far from quiet year. Before his move back to Welsh Rugby Union, he had a starring role for Welsh Rugby League. It was a centenary year for Rugby League, another sport that had to confront fundamental change, and they also had a World Cup to contest as well.
It's been a year of centenary celebrations for the sport that first checked in at a Huddersfield hotel.
I think the time has come for us to form our own union. A Northern Rugby Football Union.
And ironically, the revolution was mirrored in 1995 with the news that a Super League is to be formed. Mergers were proposed, there was heated debate, but summer rugby is on the way. Whenever they play, who'll stop the Super Team? Wigan roared on in unbeatable style. They started the year by regaining the Regal Trophy. It was only for starters. In the Challenge Cup, they did come close to defeat, but for the 8th year running, they turned up at Wembley and, as usual, were up to the challenge. Jason Robinson took the plaudits as Wigan completed a grand slam of all 4 domestic trophies, breaking new ground even for them. Over the last decade, they've averaged over 3 trophies a season. Wembley launched the Centenary World Cup in October, and New Look Australia came to defend their title. But after the opening ceremony was out of the way, Phil Larder's England got the flying start. There were late tries from Robinson and Paul Newlove, who now carries a £500,000 transfer tag. The tournament was also memorable for a major contribution from the South Sea Island countries. Western Samoa came the closest, literally, to making the last 4. But Wales weren't intimidated and won through to set up a semi-final against an England side led by Dennis Betts. The Welsh fans arrived in force, but with Sean Edwards injured, it was his deputy who inspired England.
Bobby Goulding stamps a kick to the corner for Offiah, and Offiah puts it down. Oh, beautiful ball. Phil Clark, surely to clinch England's place in that final at Wembley.
Tears for Welsh captain Jonathan Davies in his final appearance as a Rugby League player. But what an upset there nearly was the next day. New Zealand fought back against Australia and almost snatched victory in the dying seconds.
Pangia, it goes to Ridge. Is he going to have a shot at goal? Left-footed, he does. It's a huge one, just to the left of the upright.
It's good to talk. Australian coach Bobby Fulton got on the phone and captain Brad Fittler didn't mind taking the call at work. Australia reorganised and won through to the final with an extra time win. So it all ended as it had begun. England against Australia at Wembley, only the script was rewritten for the finale. An early try from winger Rod Wishart meant the Kangaroos jumped ahead, and they stayed ahead, despite brave English hearts.
England must move out quickly. They can't let Australia keep it that ball. Jones going for the line. Oh, Radlinski is giving the try to Brasher.
For the 5th successive time, Australian hands lifted the World Cup, and like Wigan, they continue to set the standards.
Martin Offiah, they did you again. How frustrating was that Wembley World Cup final defeat?
Well, yeah, it was pretty frustrating, you know, especially when we were quite confident, you know, that we would win on the day, but the bounce of the ball, you know, the referee decision, call it what you will, you know, it just wasn't our day.
On a personal note, you've recently passed 400 tries in Rugby League. Are you a man who looks at records and future records as well?
No, not really. Just go out every time, you know, and try and score. Just similar to like strikers in football, you know, that's what I enjoy doing, and if I'm not doing that, then obviously I'm not really happy.
Well, Wigan stay on top, but my goodness, Widnes ran you close yesterday in the Regal Trophy, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't think I've quite recovered from that, yes. I like extra time, especially in Rugby League.
Now, a lot of talk these days about Rugby League against Rugby Union, Bath against Wigan in a possible double-header early next year, possibly. How do you think a double-header match like that might go?
I think it'd be quite interesting. You know, there's a lot of people in both camps, you know, I think their coach is the better. But I think that everything's coming together a lot now. You know, obviously with people like Johnson switching back, so who knows what rugby's going to hold in the future. You know, a year ago nobody would have envisaged, you know, the changes that have taken place now. So.
But who would win, the League boys or the Union boys?
League, without a doubt.
What about yourself? You remain committed to Wigan. Any thoughts of returning to the code where you started?
No, not really, unless, you know, Rob's got a lot more money left.
Talk to him later.
I'll give him my mobile number. Then maybe, so I don't know. You know, so I'm at Wigan for the next 4 years, so, you know, after that, then who knows.
You'll be at the top in both codes. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Offiah. Thanks.
It's been another busy year in snooker. The Crucible in Sheffield once again staged a dramatic World Championship, which included celebration, commiseration and controversy. But one man continues to set the standards for others to follow, the world #1.
Stephen Hendry, Jimmy White, Nigel Bond, Andy Hicks, John Higgins and Ronnie O'Sullivan, who became the youngest ever winner of the Masters title at Wembley. At the Crucible in Sheffield, there were many surprising first-round defeats. But one of the biggest stories was the inquiry launched into Peter Francisco's match against Jimmy White following allegations of betting irregularities.
Well, this is just terrible. I think they both like to start again.
The WPBSA banned Francisco for 5 years. White totally exonerated.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Another great shot, split in the pack.
Only 2 maximums ever made at the Crucible.
This could be the shot of the tournament. These next 6 pots, there's more pressure, and it will build and build with each shot he takes.
The ultimate in a record 12 championship centuries for Hendry. In the other semi-final, Nigel Bond beat Andy Hicks.
54.
But not even Bond could stop Hendry.
Stephen Hendry takes the Embassy World Snooker title for the 5th time and a record 4 times consecutively.
And there were more Hendry records at the UK Championship. The Scot went on to win it, his 57th title. He's got every right now to claim another one, the best player ever.
Well, Stephen, 5 world titles. I mean, does it not get more difficult to motivate yourself year after year?
Not when it comes to winning the title at Sheffield. That is the biggest event in the world, and obviously Steve has scored 6 world titles, and my aim is obviously to try and win 7.
Now, obviously titles are the goals, but how special are those 147s?
Oh, it's great. I think it's the biggest buzz you can get in snooker, because it's sort of 10 minutes of intense concentration, and when it's all over, it takes you a while to recover from it.
Now, we've seen 2 televised 147s, but I want to know, I mean, does this happen in practice often, or what?
I don't really play for them a lot in practice, because there's no money to be winning practice for them. But no, I haven't made as many as a lot of the professionals in practice, but obviously when the chance comes around on the TV tournament, it's very rare, and you've got to try and take it.
Is it nerve-wracking? Now, when do you actually sense, right, this is on and I'm going to do it?
Usually around about the 60, 70 point mark, when you realise other player can't win the frame, and you hopefully weigh up the options and see you've got a chance of going for it.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, and this is bad news for your rivals, you said that you still felt you had room for improvement. Now, where?
I still think I can get more consistent in my game, and you know, obviously throughout a whole season, it's 10 months long now, snooker season, and I'd like to play that sort of snooker as often as possible. I don't do it every single tournament.
Now, you mentioned the long season. I know you're a keen golfer. The snooker's improved. Has the golf improved as well?
It gets slowly better, but the weather in Scotland, you can't play too much.
OK, well, thanks very much for joining us. The world #1 world champion, Stephen Hendry.